So good afternoon all. Am I audible to all? Okay. Hope that all of you had your lunch. Yes or no? Great. So I had given one assignment, right? Have you tried that? Shubh is saying no. Okay. If you have had your lunch, it is good. If you didn't had your lunch, I appreciate your dedication. But still, so yesterday's assignment is completed. Okay. Just checking out your assignment. Like, have you posted in your groups? I have seen only Chaitra have. Loop part got confused. Okay, fine then. Let us understand how can we do it. So let me share the screen for that. The screen visible? So we had stopped in exceptions, right? Okay. Sorry, arrays. Let me check for that. Yes. So we had written a program for a normal array, that is a rectangular array. In this rectangular array, the number of columns in each row will be the same. So you have seen the diagram also how the regular array looks like. Regular the rectangular array, how it looks like. So if I consider this to be an array, with whatever the program we have taken, it was something like this. There were 3 rows for that. So it was something like this. And in each row, there were 3 columns. And how the values were written there? I can tell this is the 0th row. This is the first row. This is the second row. And similarly, this is the 0th column, first column, and the second column. This is how it was looking in the previous session. And whenever you have to notify it, like, this row, I want to tell 10 is what will be stored here. Then you know how to analyze the index. A of 1 comma 1 or A of 1 of 1 is what you have analyzed. Means 0, 1 row, 1 column. Like that, you have to keep it in your mind. Now, the scenario which we have seen was not similar to the study. Was not similar to this diagram. This is how it was looking. There was how many columns in first row? Yesterday scenario, whatever question I had given, right? 2 rows. 2 columns. Okay. And in the second row, 3 columns. And finally, in last row, I think it was 4 or 5. Maybe I'll just take it as 4 only. So I would tell these are the first column elements, second column elements, third column, and the last one is fourth one. If this is the case, and how the index value will be given, I would tell 0th row, first row, second row. On total, How many rows are there? Can I come to conclusion? 3 rows are there. So I have told you yesterday only. Rows, how you have to analyze? Horizontally. Columns, how you should analyze vertically. Correct? So when it comes to the columns, I would tell it is 0th column, first column, second column, and the third column. Like this. So totally it is 4 columns which I have. I can tell totally maximum column number is 4. What is the minimum column number for first row? How many columns are there? It is 2. For second row, it is 3. For third row, it is 4. Like this, you need to analyze. But if you observe, the scenario is totally changed. In the first first program, whatever we have written, it was a regular array. The number of columns in each row was same. So I'll just make a point here. The number of columns in each row was same. The number of columns in each row was same. Where in case of a jagged array, as you have observed, it is not same. Is not same. See the number of columns in each row, is it same? The first row it is 2, the second row it is 3, the third row it is 4. Correct? Okay. In arrays, we have a special feature. Whenever you have a one dimension array, say suppose I would tell, assume this is the last row. Is it visible? The last row is visible? Or maybe I'll take it freshly only so that no confusion will be framed. So I'll consider one new array of one dimension, and this array will have a columns, or maybe I can tell I want to store 3 students, or 4 students marks. And I have also told you how the index works. It would be starting from 0. So I would tell 0 is the index of this 1, and then it is 2 and 3. This is how the index value will be there. And the name of this array will be A, is what till now we have considered. The same way I'll consider it now. So we have one inbuilt property. It's not a method, it's a variable. How you have has property and the does methods for every objects. For array objects, there is a has property called as length. What does this length do is, it will check what is the size of an array. Now, I want to check a size of this A array. Then I should be telling it as A dot length. That's it. If I have to check the array size, then I have to tell this A dot length. If I give this information, it provides us the length of an array. Please think and what is the length of this array? What is the length of this array? Is it 4 or 3? You should always think in this perspective, how many values I can store. It is 4, right? Then you should tell size or length of this array will be 4. How many values I can store. So this is how it checks. In this row, how many values I am able to store. This is what the statement will do. But if manually, now all these days, what you did, whenever you are giving the termination condition in the for loop, you gave like this. That is, I starts from 0 and it should continue till I less than equal to 4. correct? This is how you have given. Sorry, 3 it is. I less than equal to 3 is what you have given. Agree? All of you? And the other way which you can was able to write it is I less than 4. These are the two ways which you can write it. Yes or no? Yes. But if in case each time the size, whatever you are saying it, say suppose the requirement is now changed. Now I don't want to store 4, rather I want to store it 5 students marks. So in the declaration size you will change, and after that you will come to a loop. In loop also you have to check and change the condition, because manually you have given. But other than this, from this a dot length, whatever value, I mean property we have, from this, what is the output we are getting? Can I say it is 4? Can I say it is 4? Maybe to prove you out, I'll just comment this entirely. So I would tell integer type A is equals to new int, and size of this I would give it as 5 and put semicolon. For our example it is 4, I would take it this way only. But internally I would try to print the value of this array, a length of an array. I didn't give anything, but I have told I want 4 blocks of this object. So when I try to compile, no issues. When I try to execute, am I getting 4? Agree, all of you? Correct. Now, using this statement, what I would do is, I would try to convert my program, that is termination condition, in terms of length. In terms of length. How can I do it? If I have to get 3, what is it I have to write it? Can I tell a dot length? Can I tell a dot length? If I tell a dot length, what is the output I was getting? 4. But for this condition, I cannot write 4. I mean, I cannot just write a dot length. Rather, I have to put -1, because my condition, how is that I am starting? I less than equal to is what I am writing it. To observe, any changes are there in this? How it works is equals to a dot length is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So it would be taking out in this way. So can I replace my statement wherever I have written it as I less than equal to 3 as I less than equal to a dot length? Can I write this way? This statement is what I am asking. 100% we can write in that way. The other side, I have told you, you can also write I less than 4. If you have to write in this way, I would consider the statement I less than a dot length. If you write this much, what is the output you will be getting? It is 4 only. Then in place of 4, in generic format, you can write it in this way, saying it to be, this is the value. So now in your program, whenever you change, say suppose if you change this to 5 or like this 5, in your loop you need not change it to 5 because already length is taking care of it. See here, if I say 5, the size will be 5 here, and a dot length will be giving you the 5 as a value. You need not change the loops that time. Like there is nothing, but always when you are writing the for loop, you should utilize this generic way of writing the loop. But till now what we have used is a specific way. Means for whenever you are seeing the condition, seeing the size, manually I was giving it. It was working fine because it was a regular array. Whether it is regular array or whether it is a jagged array, our approach should be always generic format. What is generic? Now, whatever I have used, a dot length is a generic way of writing the code. Any doubts in this replacement? In place of I less than equal to 3, if I write I less than equal to a dot length minus 1, any confusion will be there for anybody? Is that clear? Can we proceed? Okay. Now, coming back to that, if I have to check, think and tell, one row you understood, because see here what I have is only one row. So to identify this row element, what you did, you have just told like this, a dot length. But in 2 dimension, whenever you say a dot length, I would tell, whenever you say a dot length, it will check like this. Okay, this is the first row, this is the second row, this is the third row. When you say a dot length, it gives you the output as 3. It gives you the output as 3. Or maybe what I would do to give a clarity on this, I would attach one more row, one more column, and I would say this is one extra column, and the number of it will be 3. Like this. So what I did, I have attached one extra column here. So what will happen when you say a dot length in the 2 dimension? It gives you the row numbers. How many rows are there? How many rows are there? It is 3 rows, correct? Yes. If it is 3 rows, now I want to check how many rows, how many columns are there in this 0th row. How many columns are there in 0th row? So what I should be telling in a specific way, I should be saying it to be a of 0 dot length. A of 0 dot length. When I say a of 0 dot length, I would get a value as 4. Don't you think in a of 0 dot length, in a of 0th row, how many columns are there? This is how you can find it out. The same way, if I have to tell a of first row, I want the length. Even it now it is 4 only. But if I want to tell specifically, this is how I can tell. So I would tell a of 2 dot length, and which will give out the value as 4. Now, in generally, if this statement I have to write it, I cannot sit and type each and every time saying it to be a of 1, a of 2, a of 3. Like this, I cannot write it. So think and tell, who is taking care of this 0, 1, 2? Or what is it? Is it a row or column? In a row. See, 0, 1, 2 is a row. So what I can do is, I can write it in a generic format as a of I dot length. A of I dot length. So if you put this statement inside the jth loop, then it will check in certain way where whenever I is 0, in that row, how many columns? In first row, how many columns? In second row, how many columns? Like this, it will check. The same way, if I have to check it here, if I tell a of 0th dot length, how many columns are there? In 0th row, how many columns are there? The output will be for this as 2. Next, a of 1 dot length, the value will be 3. Similar to way, I would tell a of 2 dot length, which will give you the output as 4. If it is giving the output as a different way, now many will be thinking in this way. Ma'am, in one row it is 2, one row it is 3, and one row it is 5 or 4. Then why we have to simply segregate like this? We will make it as 4 only, so that here I would be able to store 2 more values. Here I can store 1 more value. But what is the requirement? In real time, do you think in every classroom there would be same number of students? In FS17, there are certain, maybe 30 students, you assume. Maybe in the FS12, there are 40 students. In FS13, there are 50 students. Is it something that in every batches, same number of students are there? No. So what I should be doing it in the Zoom session, when I would be registering it for it, and I'm buying that Zoom locations for batches here. So I have to pay for that, where it would say that how many candidates will be there for this session. So what I would do, FS17, right? However, 30 students are there. Why to simply tell 30 and all? If more number of students are joining, let me see that time. So I'll make it as 100. So think and answer. Say suppose for one candidate, if it is costing 100 rupees, simply can I waste for 100 seats there like that? Some 100 candidates like that. How many will come? We know that it is 30. Upon that, for other 70 candidates, will I waste my money and pay for that? Will anybody do that? No. Maybe 1 or 2, it is fine. But when you are sure about how many students are there, why do you have to waste the memory? Correct? The same way here, when you know that it is 2 candidates only in the 0th row, then why do you have to waste 2 more? You should never do that. Integer type value storing 2 memories like this means 4 bytes, 4 into 2, 8 bytes. 8 bytes means how many bits? 64 bits. 64 bits means how it looks, how many zeros will be there, you have seen already. That much of memory, why do you have to waste? You cannot do it. Now, other way of candidates will be thinking, ma'am, then we'll give the minimest value. Only 2 we will give in the declaration. If you give 2, where you will store this, where you will store this, where you will store the marks for this. Again, it is not possible. So basically, you have to understand, whenever you are saying that it is a jagged array, you should always change your way of coding. How to change? Just observe here. You need to know this point. Whenever we say a dot length in a 2 dimension, it will always give you the row numbers. How many row numbers? Sorry. It will always give you the row numbers. It will always give you the row numbers when you tell a dot length. But when you say a of I dot length, in that row, how many candidates are there? That is what the information it would be giving it to you. So how to use that is what you have to know. Now, with understanding whatever you have got it, let us start writing a code for this scenario. I'll go back to the code, and I would not touch anything for the declaration. I mean, not declaration, for printing and the initialization. Step 3 is here. Step 2 is here. No other changes. Let it be like that. Coming back to the declaration, first step. If you understand first step, the other steps will be easy now. Please pay attention. Declaration part. Think and tell how many rows are there in a second approach, second diagram. In this diagram, how many rows are there? It is 3. Any confusion in that? You can tell, right? There is no confusion. So I would write it 3, as it is. I would not remove it. I would write it as it is. Now, coming to the number of columns, that is vertical part. Number of columns, is it same in each row? The number of columns are same in each row? No. If you tell 2 to store 3 and 4 in the second and third row, it's a problem. If you tell 4, you will waste a memory. So either of the cases is not possible here. So in that case, whenever you are not aware, whenever the number of each row, simply in your code, don't write anything. I repeat, whenever it is a jagged array and the number of columns in each row are different, then don't write anything in this column place, because you know whatever you have it in the first set of bracket is for number of rows, whatever you have written in the second set of bracket is a number of columns. When you have this, having this point in the mind, when the number of columns is not same in the each row, if you write like this, your compiler will accept, but provided in the next line you give the complete information. Because till here, what the information you have given to your compiler, you said please allocate a memory in the heap segment, and in that heap segment make that object into 3 rows, and in that 3 rows how many columns, because you have told it is a 2 dimension. That information also you should give, right? So it will be waiting for the next in set of information, that how much you want to give, that you should be giving it. So I would tell explicitly, in A of 0, the number of candidates will be 2. In A of 1, the number of candidates will be 3. In A of, sorry, it is 1. In A of 2, the number of candidates will be 4 or 5, whatever you want, you make it. Like this, explicitly I will give now. So when I give this information to my compiler, it will organize the memory in this way. For first row, 2 memory, for next it is 3, for next it is 4. Like this, it will organize. And in the loop, when the control comes to the loop, think and answer. Is that I should start from 0? Correct, right? I should be starting from 0. Okay. After that, I am saying that I is less than equal to 2. So now I should be less than equal to 2. It is correct for this program. The first row, can I tell I is less than equal to 2? For first row, there is no problem. Whatever the statement I have, it will work fine. But after this, when the control goes to the second row, that is when the I becomes 1, next time after the iteration, the I becomes 1. When I becomes 1, and now I am checking for the second row. In second row, think and tell, is that the I j less than, or mean I less than equal to 3, or j less than whatever the column numbers I have given, j less than equal to 2. Will it work for this row? Whatever the condition I have given, j less than equal to 2, I mean 3, right? So I have given it as 3. But what is the condition I have written it here? It is 2 only. I have to store 3 values. I am saying it to be 2. Then if your answer is correct for this, then it should not be working for the first row, right? I cannot tell this way that J value should be less than equal to 2. Can I say this one for this first row? It is not possible because I have to stop it at 1, but I have given it as that way. Next, here also I have told as 2. For this, there is no problem, it will work. But when it comes here, J less than equal to 2, again, this is a problem here where I would be able to store only 3 values, 0, 1, 2. Till here only I can store. The rest, one more value, I will not be able to solve it, or I will not be able to put back the value. So my design, the program design, whatever I have got it, or the memory allocation is this way, but I am able to store only this value. Please check if that is the way I have written the code. What will happen? I'll compile the code. No issues, because it is with respect to memory. Memory means during the runtime there would be a problem. When I execute my code, so it is asking me to enter the array element, whatever I would enter now. So do you think it is for the first one, this element, this block, correct? Whatever I'll give input now, it is for the 0th row, 0th column. Agree? Okay, I'll give it as and click on enter. Now it is asking for second row. So I'll go back to the second row and I'll give the input to this. I mean, first row, second element, which is to be 20. And now I will click on enter. Whatever I should be entering it now, it was supposed to be for a next row, but it will take it for a same row because I have written the program in that way. It will be taking for the second one because what is the condition you have given? J less than equal to 2. So the memory and the loop which you have written, it is not matching. Let me check. It will not tell problem here because you are giving extra memory. So it will take. But after this, if you consider the ith loop, because of I where you have told only for this you expected 2 memories. Here you see in the declaration how you have told in a 0th row you told 2, but you have given the condition for 3. Understanding the difference now? Why that exception you are getting? You told I will be storing 2 value in 0th row. It is something like this. In class 0, I am promising that I want only 2 chair, but I'm sending 3 students to that. How one more student will sit if only 2 chairs are there? This is the problem here, and there the problem have arise and it is showing you some exception, some mistake it is saying. So how to overcome this problem is whenever you are writing, whether it is a regular array or whether it is a jagged array, make a habit, don't write it manually, always tell in generic. How to tell? A dot length, but if you tell A dot length, it will consider the actual length. So you have to tell A dot length minus 1, or why to tell this equal to, why to tell this minus 1, remove that also, remove this also. So this statement will work like I less than 3. I less than 3 is what it will work. So 0, 1, 2 will be satisfied. Will that be okay now? All of you getting it? So only I have explicitly explained this part. In the diagram, I have given this. Why we are writing this A dot length? This is how it works. If you tell equals to, you have to put minus 1. So I have changed it. Now coming to the column, I should be telling it as in 0th row separately, in first row separately, in the second row separately, that I cannot do sit and write each and every time. So I would tell you only handle that. In a generic format, I am writing it. If I write like this, first time I will be 0, next time 1, next time 2. Accordingly, it will divide. But why to write this -1 and why to write this equal to, just tell it as less than. You can write that also, there would be no issues. Clear? So the same loop condition I will put for printing. That's it. I'll now compile the code. No issues. When I run the code, I'll start giving entry. First row is done. Second row now, 3 elements. Third row is 4 elements. I'll give it as 1, 2, 3, and 4. See the output? Are you getting the expected output? Great. Just to copy down this diagrams first as it is. Whatever, first you copy this block. How I have written, the same way you write down, because this will help you out to recall the points. Many will forget the things. So just copy down this diagram first. Is it completed? Now observe now. I would slightly change the requirement now. Till now it was like, one entity you have seen, two entities you have seen, but now I would consider the entities in this way. So I would tell this is the scenario where the number of schools will be there, the number of classrooms, and finally the number of students. So I have to give the students marks for a particular schools, and in that school, whatever the class members will be there, class will be there, inside that how many students will be there, for all such students I have to give the marks now. So I would just tell this is the zeroth school. In zeroth school there are 3 classrooms, 0, 1 and 2. Like this 3 classroom I would consider. Maybe I would tell in 0th classroom there would be 2 students. There would be 2 students. So how to represent the students? I would just represent in this way. There would be 2 students. Like this. Even in first classroom, there would be 2 more students. And even in the second classroom, there would be 2 students. Like this, I would tell for a 0th school, 0th classroom, 0th student is what you have to analyze now. So what I have to do it, I have to store the marks for these number of students. In a 0, how many schools are there as of now? It is only 1 school. So remember that part. Okay. I would slightly change my requirement now. So I would just tell now the school number is, it is 1. And in this school also, there would be 3 sets of people. 3 classrooms will be there. Like this. And in each classroom, there are 2 students. So think and tell how many entities are there. It is 3 entities. In first program which we have written arrays, it was just only students. Then we came up with something called as class and students, which was 2 dimension. Now it is 3 dimension array which we have to design. In this 3 dimension array, because we have 3 different sets of values. If it is 3 different sets of values, think and tell the number of columns in each row, is it same? The number of columns. Okay, you are thinking that this is only the entire 3 rows. No, this is not the memory representation. Don't get confused. Still the memory I haven't shown. Getting it? So what is that you will be filling it out is just this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, like this marks you have to give. How many marks? There are 3 classrooms. In each 3 classrooms, there are 2 students. So totally how many students? It is very good. So in one school, there are 6 students. In other school, there are 6 students. Totally, it is 12, or I have to fill out 12 marks in the output screen. This is what the requirement it is now. So basically, if you have to design that, first part is a declaration. The first step is declaration. So I would tell int a 3 information, so 3 set of square brackets. Then I'll tell new int and 3 set of square brackets, because 3 information is what we have to give. So inside this brackets, the first information is, so think and tell, whenever you have to check with the number of students, is it that firstly you will get the students, or firstly you'll get the class, or first is that you have to enter the school? It is always the school. If you get that school first, the block first, then only you can enter inside the number of classrooms. So I can tell how many schools are there in this scenario. How many schools are there in this scenario? It is 2. So I would tell here to be, it is 2. Next, maybe now after telling 2, you have to get into the next level. Now, once you entered the school, already you are in one school. In front of you, how many classrooms are visible? You should never tell 6. Always you should see in one perspective. Outside, when you stand, you can see 2 different schools. But when you entered inside one school, you can see only the classroom present in that. So that is what the information you have to give it here. So I would tell it is 3 schools. 3 classrooms. After that, once you enter inside the one classroom, maybe 0th classroom, you went inside. How many students are there? Very good. So I should be telling it as this way. So how the memory will be analyzed, or how the memory will be allocated is, this is one block. This is one entire block which is there. This entire block, whatever we have it, has been divided into 2 different schools. This entirely has been divided into 2 different schools. In these 2 different schools, there are certain number of classrooms. Certain number of classrooms. Maybe I would tell that is what the analyzation will take place. So I would tell this to be 0th school. This to be the first school. And within the schools, there are classroom. How many classroom? 3 classroom. Here also you have 3 classroom. But in each classroom, how many students are there? It is 2 students. It is 2 students. So I can number them in this way: 0th school, 0th class, 1st class, and this is the 2nd class. The same way, 1st school, 0th classroom, 1st classroom, and 2nd classroom. How many students? 0th student and 1st student. Did you notice the changes which how I have done? Yes or no? Yes. It could be something like this also. There could be a different companies. In different companies, there would be different departments. In each department, there would be a different number of employees. Their salary I have to fill. Again, 3 dimension, 3 different entities. So currently what I have is this one. Keeping this in your mind, can you write the loops and design part for this? That is 3 steps. 1 step already I have given. Remaining is what? initialization, and displaying. Can you try for this? Yes or no? Okay. Before trying, I just want to ask this question. Is the number of columns, so in this, out of 3 entities here, which is the number of columns? Which is the number of columns? First one is the number of columns. First one will be number of blocks. Inside that, number of rows. Inside that, number of columns. So I would just make up points here. I would tell here to be this is number of blocks, rows, and columns. So have this in your mind. Start analyzing now. Now, one more thing. So previously, whenever it was one dimension array, you told directly as a dot length. When it is a 2-dimension array, when you say a dot length, it will always give you this number of rows. Then in a of 0, if you tell that particular number of columns you are getting. But now it is a different scenario. If you tell a dot length, what is the value you will get? Please tell me. If you tell a dot length, what is the value? Which value you will get? Number of blocks, rows, or columns? It is 2. Very good. It will give you the number of blocks. This is the first one. This is the second one. So I can tell whenever you say a dot length, it will give you the value of blocks. Next. After that, if I have to see in a of 0th block, that is 0th school, how many classrooms are there? How can I tell? Can I tell that a of I dot length? A of I dot length? Yes, when I say this one in 3-dimension, I would get number of rows. Number of rows in this case is number of classrooms. So here I would just mention school, and this will give you classes. And if I have to see in that class how many students are there, it is something like this. In a of 0th block, 0th classroom, how many students? So to tell that, I would be telling in a of 0th block, jth classroom, how many students? If you have 2 entities, you will always make use of 2 loops. If you have 1 entity, you will always make use of 1 loop. If you have 3 entities, how many loops you have to use? Got it? Now at least can you try to write the program? Yes, quickly start writing it. Quickly start writing it. See, arrays are some concept. I told you basically in the programming, it plays a major role. That is the reason I want you people to try it out. If you try now, then when I explain, it would be easy to you. If you are not trying it now only, it would be a difficult task to you when I explain. You will get confused. What is A, what is I, what is J? 3 loops means I, J, K. 3 entities you can consider. Start doing it. Is it completed? Okay. Do compare it with the coding which I will be doing it now. If you're still doing it, halt it for a time being. Just halt it now. So I'll remove all this line which is not required. So the step 1 already we have written. So what is that we have written? It is 2 blocks, 3 rows and 2 columns. 2 blocks, 3 rows and 2 columns. If you have a 3 set of square brackets towards the right hand side, the same thing you should be having it in the left hand side too. Then comes the step 2 where you have to take the user input. If you have to take user input, then scanner class is mandatory. So scanner type object, I am creating it here. Why that system.in future class you will understand separately about scanner, we will be discussing there. So then I would use the loops firstly to take care of take care of the blocks one loop, then for rows one loop, and also the columns one loop. Like this I'll consider integer type I is equals to 0. And now tell me what is the condition I have to write it here. What is the termination condition I have to give for I? Very good. I should be telling it as a dot length. Can I write it as I is less than equal to a dot length minus 1? Yes, both are fine. There is no issue. Why two extra you put equals to then minus 1? I would just write like this. If you like to write like that, please do write it. There is no problem in that. J is equals to 0. J less than. What is the count I have to write it here? Termination for J. Yes, I should be telling it as A of I dot length and J plus plus. When it comes to the K is equals to 0. K is less than A of I and J dot length. And I would increment the J part. And internally, I would receive the input value. Who will do that job? That is next int method, which belongs to scanner class, will do it. And whatever I have entered, I have to store back. I will store in A of I, J, K. Like this, I'll write. For printing also, there is no difference. I would put it the same loop. Whatever is there in the I, J, K, I'll print it. System.out.println. Like this, I'll print it. But before this, one messages I'll print. System.out.println. Enter array elements. And here I'll print one more statement. Enter array elements are only for reading purpose properly. That is the reason. If you don't write also, there is no issue. And now whatever code we have written, it is for printing. I have to give it as K plus plus here. Okay. It is for printing the value in a normal form. Means everything will be printed. Ln means vertically. If I don't print ln, it is horizontally. But along with that, I want space to be printed. So I would take it in this way. If I give space, it will print 10, 20, 10 space, 20 space, like that horizontally it will print. But what is required for me? After printing each value in a row, it has to go to the next line. That is what I have to inform. So where is it? I have to put the println statement. Maybe first, without doing that, let's check the logic. Then I'll demonstrate that. No issues. When I compile, it is asking me to enter. So I'll tell 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 30, 40, 30, and 40. So it is printing horizontally everything, because how is that I have given? See here, no ln and with space. But the same thing, if I put println statement after this kth loop, do observe, because I want you people also to try this. So no issues. When I try to execute 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 30, 40, 30, and so now it is printing, but still there is continuity. I want to know the school difference also. First 3 are school, after that there should be a gap, then it should print the next school details. Then what I will do is I would copy the same statement after each row. I will print. So now I'm gonna leave the line. So now you do check. I'll give input 1 2 1 2 1 2 and 3 4 3 4 3 4. Can you see the difference now? So only I have told you this point. Printing step is very much important. Even though something you did in the other part, while printing it, how you will print makes major difference. So remember this point. Now many will do this mistake in your laptops when you're writing it. After the kth loop, one ln statement should be there. After the jth loop, one ln statement should be there, because this is the end of the row and this is the end of the that particular student value. After that student, the control will go to the next row. It is taking care, and before going to the next row, next school, one line I am leaving it. That is the difference which is happening here. So you have to make sure this. So just take a quick screenshot of this. Take the screenshot. Is it done? Okay. Now, any question or any scenario given on 1 dimension, 2 dimension regular array, 2 dimension jagged array, 3 dimension regular array, you are able to write it. Jagged array, I'll explain. So I don't want you people to get confused in that. I'll explain the 3 dimension jagged array, but other than the 3D jagged array, the remaining, will you be able to write any program given on that? Good. So I want you people to execute the same program and keep it ready. So tomorrow I'll be explaining the jagged array. After explaining the jagged array, I'll give you a few questions to solve it in the session only. For that, complete all the programs you would have executed once, revised once, then only you will be able to write the code. If you have not executed once also, I don't think so you can solve tomorrow also. Even in interview also you cannot solve it. So make a habit that you will complete entirely, revise entirely, and even this program you will execute once and come back to the next class. You will be doing it? Yes. Fine, then I'll conclude the session for now. I want everybody to revise and come back for next class. Okay. So tomorrow also it will be at 2 o'clock. Join at 2 o'clock sharp. We'll start the session. Fine. Have a great evening. Thank you.